I have definitive proof that the NFL is rigged. Back in 2021, the National Football League signed a three-way exclusive sports betting partnership deal with three sportsbooks: Caesars, FanDuel, and DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook has quickly become one of the most prominent names across the sports industry, dominating commercials, paying tons of money for huge sponsorships, and gigantic brand ambassadors. You've probably seen the commercials with Kevin Hart already on your TV when you watch football. Steve Aoki just signed a deal with DraftKings. They're an absolutely massive entity, taking in hundreds of millions of dollars every single year in bets, and most of that money they take in bets is coming in on the NFL. So far in the 2022 season, DraftKings has begun running a few promotions on the NFL, one of which is a promotion that they run what seems to be on almost a weekly basis. And the name of that promotion, or the type of promotion, is Anytime Touchdown Boosters. What that means is a player in any NFL game can have odds listed on if they will score a touchdown at any point in the game. When you talk about some of the big name players on good teams, and you talk about their odds to score touchdowns, sometimes the payout can't or won't be very big because those guys score a lot of touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, Stephon Diggs, big name guys that are always finding themselves in the end zone. So far in the NFL season, we've had 10 full weeks go down, and they've boosted, from what I've seen on Twitter, courtesy of BR Betting, 12 different anytime touchdown boosters. The most recent and most egregious one that will absolutely prove that the NFL is colluding with DraftKings is Cordarrelle Patterson to score a touchdown on Thursday Night Football of Week 10 between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, before we get into the details and we talk about exactly how I can basically prove that this is completely rigged, let's look back at some of the historical references as far as these anytime touchdown boosters go. So what you'll see is they'll list a player and their odds to score a touchdown at any point in the game. For example, on Sunday of Week 10, November 14th, DraftKings, in partnership with Bleacher Report Betting, boosted Travis Kelce's anytime touchdown odds from minus 150 payout all the way up to minus 110. You get more money for your bet for Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. He scored a touchdown, and the bet paid out at minus 110. Now, if you're talking about payouts, minus 110 isn't necessarily a very big payout. It's the standard payout for most straight bets that you're going to make on a sportsbook. Looking back on the history, here's how they have all gone and panned out. The first one was the first game or the first week of the regular season. On the 11th of September, Jonathan Taylor was boosted to score a touchdown. He did. The next time was Saquon Barkley against the Panthers. He did not. The next time was Justin Jefferson. He did not. Then Nick Chubb was boosted. He scored. Cooper Kupp was boosted the following time. Did not score. Stephon Diggs the next time. He did. So through the first 6 anytime touchdown boosters, they had gone 3-3. Not bad, right? 500 average, 50%. This is when it gets a little bit hairy. The following week, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was boosted. Did not. Then Aaron Jones was boosted. Did not. Derrick Henry was boosted. Did not. Devontae Adams was boosted. Did not. Stephon Diggs again was boosted. Did not. And the most egregious one, in my opinion, that deserves to be focused and highlighted is the one I'm touching on in this video, and it was November 10th, Thursday Night Football, Week 10, Cordarrelle Patterson to score a touchdown. The largest payout of the all the anytime touchdown boosters. He was boosted from plus 105 to plus 200. Essentially, you win double your money if you bet. Plus 200, you bet 100, you win 200 on top of it if Cordarrelle Patterson scores a touchdown at any time in the game. So after the Travis Kelce touchdown on Sunday, the DraftKings anytime touchdowns were 4 and 8. Not good. On top of that, some of the performances were especially fishy. You have ones like Saquon Barkley getting boosted on the 18th of September to score a touchdown, and he didn't against Carolina, historically a bad run defense. The following week, Justin Jefferson was boosted, and he got targeted 6 times against another historically bad defense in the Detroit Lions. 6 targets, a season low for Justin Jefferson so far. Or how about October 3rd? Cooper Kupp had 14 catches for 122 yards, and he never found the end zone. Or how about October 23rd? Derrick Henry had 30 carries for 128 yards, didn't score a touchdown. How can that be? How about October 30th? Davante Adams was boosted to score a touchdown at any point in the game. He was targeted a season low 5 times. He had 1 catch for 3 yards. All of those don't really make sense. And you know what? Listen, I get it. It's football. Sometimes it just doesn't go their way. Doesn't go the bet's way. NFL's unpredictable. I get it. But the Cordarrelle Patterson one on November 10th is so egregious that either the NFL is working with DraftKings to make sure that the bet doesn't hit, or The offensive coordinator and the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons deserves to be literally fired as soon as the game was over.
You're fired.
So first of all, the Panthers beat the Falcons 25-15. The 2-7 Panthers beat the 4-5 Falcons. Now again, you think, okay, well that is what it is. Falcons might have just had an off day. Carolina's defense stepped up. Well, trust me, I promise you that wasn't the case. Let's start with the Carolina Panthers and their team. Up to this point in the season, they are ranked 31st in rushing yards allowed in the NFL. The week before they played the Falcons in week 10, they played the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Mixon, the running back for the Bengals, had 22 carries for 153 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's the Carolina Panthers in a nutshell. No identity on offense. Their defense gets torched every single week, especially in the run game, and they just aren't going to win football games. Now, flip to the Falcons and Cordarrelle Patterson, and this is where it gets even weirder. In the Thursday night game between the Panthers and Falcons, to start off week 10, the Falcons were coming into the game having averaged 32.8 carries per game, which ranks 5th in the entire NFL. They also came into the game averaging 23.1 pass attempts per game, which is 30th in the NFL. But on Thursday night, instead of running the ball 32 times like they average, they only ran it 25 times. And instead of only throwing it 23 times because Marcus Mariota is clueless, they actually threw the ball 30 times. So they threw it 7 more times than they normally do, and they rushed it 7 fewer times than they normally do against a Carolina defense that cannot stop the run. It gets even worse, I promise. Week 8, these two teams played each other in Atlanta. The Atlanta Falcons ran the ball 37 times, 12 more times than they did 2 weeks later against the exact same Carolina Panthers team. And this time, when they faced off in week 10, Cordarrelle Patterson was healthy. He didn't even play when they played each other in week 8. And yet, they carried it 12 more times. On top of that, specifically and individually for Cordarrelle Patterson, he only had 5 carries in the Thursday night matchup. His next lowest number of carries in a game is 9, and that was the game he got injured. Cordarrelle Patterson averages this season 12.5 carries per game. And you might be thinking, well, he was injured. And week 10 was only his second game back from an injury, right? Cordarrelle Patterson missed 4 weeks, starting in week 5 through week 8 because of an injury. Week 9, he comes back and he had 13 carries and 2 touchdowns for the Falcons. So clearly he's healthy, except this time against the Carolina Panthers, a week after Cordarrelle Patterson already had 13 carries and 2 touchdowns, he gets 5 carries. So to recap, the Falcons ran the ball fewer times than they average. They threw the ball more times than they average. They ran it 12 more times against the same team 2 weeks ago. Cordarrelle Patterson gets a season low in carries, and even the people who are saying maybe, you know what, he's battling through an injury. They wanted to get other guys' touches. Totally makes sense. Maybe he got injured again last week. Maybe it's just sort of aggravating him. All of that would make sense, except for the fact that Cordarrelle Patterson was lined up in the end zone to return every single kickoff in the entire game. So clearly he's not hurt. He just didn't play. And on top of all of it, it was pissing rain in Carolina. When it's inclement weather, it is a recipe to run the rock. And the Atlanta Falcons didn't run the ball nearly as many times as they did against the exact same team 2 weeks ago in a dome. Somebody needs to explain to me how that happened. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the NFL is working and colluding with DraftKings when they boost a guy's odds to score a touchdown to make sure he doesn't score a touchdown and the sportsbook can make out all rich and fat and run off with their profits. I'm not saying that's the case. But what I am saying is I'm sitting here stuck looking for an explanation to how.
Hold on, bro. How you, I'm saying, how, like, talk to me, bro.
Cordarrelle Patterson not only didn't score a touchdown, which, again, I understand that might happen, but how he comes into this game and gets 5 carries for 18 yards. Somebody needs to figure out what's going on in that situation. If the Falcons were completely worthless and the Panthers were completely worthless, I would think, it's just bad coaching. But the Falcons were 4-5 coming into this game. They had a legitimate shot to win the NFC South. So in order to put yourself in the best situation to win, it would seem like, you would run the ball against one of the worst running defenses in the NFL when it's raining, and you played them 2 weeks before and had a tremendous amount of success running the ball. So am I saying it's completely rigged? Maybe. For argument's sake, let's say no, it's not rigged. Then the head coach or the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, whoever's in charge of primary play calling, deserves to be not just reprimanded, but completely fired. The decision to run the ball less is bananas. And all I'm saying is, if I was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons or the head coach or whoever's in charge of calling plays on offense, and I got a text message earlier in the day from a random number that I don't have in my phone. And that random number sent a text that just says, no Patterson, or Patterson with a red X next to it. And I knew after seeing that if Cordarrelle Patterson didn't score a touchdown that game, the next day I would get a nice, big, fat, chunky direct deposit into my bank account from another unknown source or from NFL Incorporated. All I'm saying is I'd make sure that the guy who scored 2 touchdowns the week before, the guy who had 13 carries the week before, and the guy who's arguably the most explosive and useful weapon on our entire team, I would make sure he didn't touch the ball. That's all I'm saying. You make it up how you want. I could be a completely psycho, tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist here. And you know what? I probably am. Right? Because that would make no sense. But all I'm saying is there's a lot of money to go around. And nobody knows exactly what goes on in those headsets, on the sideline, behind the scenes. And if one day in 1,000 years from now, it came out that the NFL was a scripted product in certain aspects, not the entire outcome of the game, but like who scores touchdowns, how many times players touch the ball, things of that nature. If that came out, that part of it was scripted, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm a complete conspiracy theorist crazy person, because I'm just trying to help everybody out and make sure the general knowledge gets out and that you guys are educated enough to realize, hey, if I'm betting on sports and I'm seeing DraftKings boosted a guy and his payout and his odds to score anytime touchdown, think twice about it. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you later.